Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to our channel. I am Woven, and on this channel, we talk all things lifestyle, travel, finance, and sometimes tradition. Now, on today's video, which has been quite some time since we last spoke, is on financial wellness and financial management. Now, before we go into it, please note this is no way financial advice, and if you require financial advice, contact a registered financial planner or advisor. Now, on today's appreciation post, wow, this person has written quite a bit, so I'm only going to read one today. Again, just part of how you guys are finding the content, so thank you very much. Feel free to share. Here goes. Hey, my beloved woman. Yes, my beloved, that's how I save you in my heart. Thank you. You know, I was listening to this specific video. So there's a video that I put up as I was in the shower, and I downloaded it and listened to it on my way to work. While I was re-listening to it, a thought came into my mind that we should give you your flowers. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hey girl, you don't know what you're busy doing to us. Me specifically. I may not have had a bad financial life, but girl, you're busy mentoring me. Thank you so much for your education, and it's even free, hey? You're busy impacting us in a positive financial way, and we appreciate you. God knew the ladies on YouTube, me specifically, needed a woman. Hence, he gave you to us. Please know that we see you, we acknowledge you, we appreciate you, and we love you. Thank you so much. Everything that you share doesn't go to waste at all. I even share your content with my siblings who are yet to get jobs, and just imagine what kind of financial discipline women they are becoming, and even before they start to earn their salaries, right? And then she proceeds to write a little bit more. So thank you so much, guys. Again, if I don't respond, it's not because I'm ignoring or I don't want to. It's just that I do not get an opportunity to respond to everyone. But please know that it's heartfelt. Okay, now into today's video, we have, and I believe a lot of us find ourselves in these situations. So one can take this specific example and apply it to their life. We're talking financial wellness, financial management. So here goes. Hi, the profession. Currently, I only take home 9K, and I'm currently paying for electricity at our house for about 12,000, and they are really sacrificing to finish that this month. A lot of us, especially in the villages, we find ourselves that there is no electricity in our homes, especially in, I don't know, south, but far north Namibia. There's a lot of homes that do not have electricity, and you'd have to fork out quite a bit to make sure that you have electricity at home. You guys always ask me when I'm taking electricity to my house. In due time, okay? And then they continue to say they have 3 loans with a micro lender, and they're also paying off SME's bank loan that they took some years ago for business that failed. Now they want to start paying off their small loans first, which is a good thing. I have shared in my previous videos. Here is the link, just different ways in how you can tackle debt. And they're indicating that they want to pay off the smallest loan first. There's some discipline that they're exercising here, which is very good. They want to increase, or they want to pay off the small loan first. They were first paying 1,000, and now they want to increase that to 2.5, which is a good thing. And then they also would like to study further. Now they just need assistance. Then I said, okay, well then, let's have a look at everything holistically, right? And I indicated, let's look at your full earnings. They did indicate they take home 9K. What I do like about this pay slip is that it's not swamped with too many things, but the loans are definitely an impediment. And then I said, let's look at your expenses. They have 3 loans. The one amount is 30,000. That's the smallest loan. The other one is 99,000. Then the other loan is 150,000. Now this is all with a micro lender. And then I said, what is the interest rate that you are paying on this loan since it's with one micro lender? And they indicated that on these loans, the interest that they are paying is 21%. Guys, I got chills when I looked at that interest rate, 21%. I mean, prime, if we're looking at prime rate right now, prime is at about, is it 10.5, right? 10.5 is the prime rate that the banks then lend to us. And because this is unsecured lending, it's at 21%. Right? Let's finish first, and then they have an SME bank loan that they took out quite some time ago, but now they don't know how much it is they owe. There is no one providing guidance. They've tried to reach out to the law firm that initially contacted them, and that law firm has also been unresponsive. Okay, then they have a furniture account that currently has 13,000. Okay, but by September they should be done paying this off. I like this specific individual, the fact that one, you're reaching out for assistance, but also this willingness to just get out of debt. You know, that already in itself is a win. That step, just being decisive to say, I want to change the way my financial landscape looks, that in itself already is a win. And then in terms of savings, they have a savings with Metropolitan, and then they also have funeral covers. Now here I was like, funeral covers? You don't have a life cover? It's like, no. How many children do you have? That's usually my first thing. When I look at someone's finances, I look at, one, do you have dependents, right? And what are you doing in the event that you are not here? How are you taking care of your dependents in the event that you are not here? Now, this specific individual has 2 kids, but they don't have a life cover. However, they did admit that they would like to get one. Okay, and then they have now the electricity that they're paying or they're sacrificing to get to basically what, then they have the electricity that they need to save up or sacrifice to get electricity home. Now, these loans, right, one would think, why are we taking loans amounting to almost 300,000 at an interest of 21%? That's a bit steep, okay? And then on top of that, they then don't have rent. That is a good thing that they don't have rent expenses. And then in terms of transport, also very minimal because they stay close to their workplace, or they are within the school vicinity basically, so you can walk to class, and they have less than $200 in terms of transportation just to go home over weekends. So at least in terms of transport, very, very minimal. In terms of rental expenses, they're also saving, right? So that's the financial landscape. Now, we then looked at how do we get you to a better financial state, right? Number 1, let's look at the debt. I keep saying that debt erodes our ability to start wealth building, more so high interest debt. Now, this individual has 3 loans, well, make it 4. I think the 4th loan, which is the SME bank, obviously is not attracting interest, or at least from what I gathered. But number 1, have a full view of your debt, like this specific individual. We now know, right, how much it is. But when it comes to debt, guys, right, not all of us, but a lot of us are in debt. A need arises and you don't have funds, so you go to a lender or bank to, advance you these facilities so you can tend to whatever need you need to tend to. What I do caution and what I'd like to caution is make sure that when you're taking out debt, it's actually for one, a need. So when you're taking out debt, try to avoid debt where you're taking out to spend on luxuries, right? Understand needs. Maybe you need to buy furniture and the likes, but if it's debt to fund a lavish or luxurious lifestyle, by all means, try and avoid that. Right now, when it comes to debt and interest rates, guys, an interest rate of 21%. So if we just do a rough calculation, this is about a 280,000, 21% of 280,000. That is roughly about 55, 60,000. Right now, this is obviously not taking into consideration that you have your monthly installments that you're paying towards your loan. But just to have that debt at 21%, on average, at least you are paying about 55,000 extra, right? So debt works this way, or a loan works this way. The interest is paid on the capital amount that is still outstanding, right? So your interest of 21,000, if your loan is 300,000, it will be calculated on that. But if you now reduce your loan to 200,000, it will no longer be calculated on the 300,000, it will be calculated on the 200,000. So if you can accelerate your debt payment journey, do it if you can. So 21,000, 21%, quite steep. Again, this is unsecured lending, so you sort of understand the micro lender. But now, us as individuals, when we look for loans, when we look for facilities, let's shop around, right? Shop around in the market to say, Bank A, how much interest are you going to charge me to get me 300,000? Micro lender B, how much are you going to charge me to, give me 300,000? And what is also interesting here is this specific loans or this micro lender has access to deducted source, right? So they are deducting from the pay slip. So there's a bit of security there. I know it's unsecured, but the fact that you don't even have a debit order, you have a stop order in place to actually get the money before it gets to me, that's an advantage. So one, shop around for your debt. I know micro lenders that can give you about what, 16.5.8, right? So then I said, let's shop around first, because 21% for me is just steep. So then they're going to shop around. And then number two is the SME bank loan. We're actually trying to get now, they need to get hold of this law firm to actually find out how much is it that I owe. Another thing that we then looked at is what type of method are we going to use to actually accelerate the debt payment. So agreed that she's going to pay the smallest debt off first, right? Smallest debt off first, which is a 30,000. And that is what we call the snowball method. Basically, you knock off the smallest debt first to see that there's traction. It works on your psyche. You can actually see that there's progress. And then also the furniture account, which is at currently at 7,000, but there's a plan in place already. Again, that's good to pay it off in by September. So over a period of 3 months. Because remember, there's still room, there's 9,000. So what we are now saying is you need to tie the belt for a couple of months to change this situation around, right? So one, furniture account over a period of 3 months, knock that off. Already that frees up some money, right? And then we're going to add onto the 1,500 that she's already paying towards her smallest loan. We're going to add on another 1,000, right? Now, after she's done paying off that furniture, we're going to add another 1,000 to that loan, right? And so it goes. Then in terms of electricity, we then looked at what are the savings that you have in place, right? So that the electricity is at home and you can free up, because there's about 3,000 that she pays towards her fund for electricity, to then make sure that she has enough money to take electricity home. So we then said, let's look at her savings. There's a couple of funds in that savings account. We said, let's get money from that savings. Let's pay off the electricity, right? Pay off the electricity, and then you free up an additional 3,000. Can you see? There's about 4,000 already going to her loan, and as soon as she pays off the electricity, there's an additional 3,000 that frees up. Now, when that frees up, again, we're going to take that 3,000 and add it towards that loan. So at some point in the next 5 months, that small loan will be done, right? Because there'll be about 7,000 just going to that small loan, and it's done, and there's room to breathe. Then we tackle the next debt, right? Now, this individual person then did go around and they did shop, and unfortunately, the next entity that was willing to give her the facility indicated she qualifies maximum 200,000, right? So remember here we have a 280. We have now knocked down the 30. We then go to the 250. Again, in a year's time, she will at least be able to be within the 200, right? Because she would have knocked off quite a significant amount of debt. And in that 200, she can then go back to that lender and say, listen, I'm now below 200. Can you advance me at 16%, at whatever percent? But 21%, I would encourage really for all of us when we are looking for debt to shop around. So again, when we tackle debt, you have now looked at the method that you're going to use to tackle your debt. Number two, we're going to shop around for different interest rates to make sure that we get the best interest rate possible. Remember, the lenders are also assessing you, and the type of borrower that you are is what would also inform them on the amount of interest to levy, right? So method, we have shopped around. There's another lender that's willing to give it a reduced rate. And then we need to learn delayed gratification, my beautiful people. We do not talk enough about delaying gratification. That is you basically saying, instead of me having my car now and going to borrow an excessive amount, let me rather save up for 1 or 2 years. And then I have either a huge deposit, instead of going to Cape Town now, let me save up 3-4 months. Same for this individual. Instead of, it might have been, because another example, I had to sit down with another client and say, we are going to call that lender now, and we are going to cancel whatever facility they were going to advance to you. So I think it was just one step left before they could get that money into their account. And it so just turns out this person is borrowing money to go buy a car to put in to Yango. And we sat down and, we looked at that. Maybe I should give it in a different or in another video. But then I said, no, if we want to get into the Yango business, let's save up for that car. Instead of going to get a loan at 21%, so even your returns in that Yango, you might even not necessarily really see a real return. So delayed gratification is very important, my beautiful people. Now, it's not for this specific client, but a lot of us are getting into debt to finance weddings. It's a topic for another day, and especially the Oshuambo or Oambo people, we have gotten into this culture of exorbitant, lavish, over luxurious weddings, which there's nothing wrong. But if we are going to borrow money to fund that wedding, something is not right. And again, we'll talk about that another day. Save up. So delay gratification, shop around, and accelerate as much money as possible to put down towards your debt to actually escape that rat race. Right? So the electricity is now sorted through her savings. Her furniture account she will pay off because that is what she's been paying. But again, once the furniture account is paid off, once the electricity is paid, what is then remaining, already there's about 6,000. We put it over into the next debt. And then in a year, even 6 months time, we re-look our finances to say, can we approach another lender? Can we shop around for better interest rates? Right? What I also like about this individual is they have always paid down all the minimum requirements on all the loans. And I mean, if we look at this payslip, it's a deduction at source, so that also becomes a bit easier. Now, what also sparked concern is the fact that they have 2 children, right? 2 kids. However, they do not have a life cover in place. You know, I get chills when I hear that an individual has dependents but they don't have a life cover in place, a life insurance in place. I don't have children, but I have a life cover in place. So one of the ways in which you take care of your loved ones when you are not here is through your life insurance. And perhaps this deserves a topic of another day, because again, it's such a taboo. You know, we in our cultures are conditioned to think, don't talk death. Am I dying? Why are we talking about life cover? But immediately for this individual, I then said, we need to shop around for life cover. You need to get in touch with an advisor or a registered advisor to just advise you on various options, right? So that we get a life cover in place, at least so that if anything happens, your 2 beautiful children have at least a financial backing. So that is something that we need to put in place immediately. And then her savings, she will continue. It's 2 years. After 2 years, we can then relook to say, this is the savings. Do we increase your savings? Do we look at saving anywhere else? But also, what we are then going to start doing is putting an emergency fund in place. So once the electricity and the furniture account is also done, we're going to start looking at building an emergency fund for her. Currently, her savings does not equal to an emergency fund because she does not have access to it. In the event that anything happens within 24 hours, you should be able to have that money. So here's what we are then overall doing for this individual. Number 1, we've identified their debt. We know exactly the financial situation, 100%. And now we have also identified the debt, the interest rate. We're going to knock that down very quickly. Then we're going to shop around at a later stage once we have then reduced that threshold into the 200,000 for a lower interest rate because they are currently paying 21%. Then we're going to sort out the SME bank, contact the legal or the law firm that's dealing with that. And guys, us that are providing this type of services, let's exercise diligence with our clients, right? I mean, we get paid to do these things. So let's exercise diligence with our clients, provide the right guidance to the clients. Then the furniture account, we're going to clear in the next 3 months, electricity. So, and then lastly, we're going to look at putting an emergency fund in place, right? But we're trying to get 3 to 6 months of expenses into her emergency fund. So again, this is a sizable payslip, or these are decent earnings. You guys would have seen in our careers and earnings, the individual that also earns 15,000 in public management, they were able to buy a house. Naturally, we are then also going to start looking at how do we secure property, or how do we even just invest more to generate wealth once we have at least brought down this debt to 200,000. We have our emergency fund in place. We have our life insurance cover in place. You know, furnitures, we have electricity is also at home. So again, this is a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. And essentially, that is what we have on this specific episode. Please feel free to reach out if you are one of the people that would like to, just start your financial wellness journey and build your wealth. I hope you guys enjoy this video. From me, Woven, I will see you in our next one.